Imagine starting a side hustle today and selling it in 3 years' time for 100 million to Spotify. Somebody actually did that. And that was just in one niche.
Alright, this is unfair.
And I'm not just telling you this for shits and giggles, I'm actually doing this myself. How much you want to make is completely up to you, 1,000 per month or 1 million per month. And don't worry, we won't have to use murder and crime like they did. The premise behind this side hustle is that you start small, understand what it takes to make 4 figures per month, and then duplicate that process to make 7 figures a month. Needless to say, at that stage, it's not a side hustle anymore. We're talking about media, or what I like to call content. But it's not content in a way that any YouTuber has talked about it before. I'm gonna run you through the 100 million exit story so we can uncover the blueprint. I'm gonna give you 3 ideas where I know this will work, and I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing and how much money we're making after 2 months of doing it. Max Cutler loved audio content. His dad was a radio producer, so he'd want to. It was 2016 and he was driving in his banged up car and he just finished up the radio show that he loved listening to.
Son of a bitch!
He then went to Spotify to find similar radio shows, but he couldn't. He went home, sat at his computer and went looking for these types of shows. And again, he couldn't. He concluded that there should be podcasts delivered weekly that are based off highly researched, scripted, entertaining formats. And in June 2016, Unsolved Murders, his first podcast, was released and Parcast was born. He bootstrapped Parcast himself with his dad, and 3 years later they had 20 shows airing daily and weekly. Then it was bought by Spotify for 100 million. What Max did here is simple in theory. He ironed down the process for one podcast and then he repeated it 20 different times. And we can all do this, but we need to understand a couple of things. There are 2 things we need to decide on when going on an endeavor like this, and you better think about it long and hard, because once you decide, you can't change your mind. We have the vertical and we have the niche. Now I'm going to give you 3 different combinations that I think would work really well, but first let's have a look at what Max did. Max chose podcasting as his vertical because he loved audio content and he thought there was a white space in the market for a well-produced podcast. For the niche, Max chose crime and mystery because these are topics that people are obsessed with. As Max said himself, we are a volume play. This is the only way to really make money and be in our business model. You need to make a lot of episodes because it's more like inventory. And then when talking about crime and mystery, he said, these are ideas that we can do 200 to 500 episodes on. Here are the verticals by where this can work. You can play life on easy mode, hard mode, or very hard mode, which is what I'm doing. Easy mode is written, so ebooks, emails, blogs. Hard mode is audio, so podcasts, ebooks, things that go on Spotify and Audible. And hard mode is video, so things that will go on YouTube, TikTok, or any video streaming platform. Written is on easy mode because all you have to do is put words on paper and you have your finished product. You hire a scriptwriter. Audio is hard mode because you have to put words on paper and you need to get somebody to do a voiceover. You hire a scriptwriter and you hire a voiceover artist. Video is on very hard mode because you need to put the words on paper, do a voiceover, and produce visuals to accompany it. You employ scriptwriters, voiceover artists, editors, animators, producers, and the list goes on. Now I'm playing life on very hard mode because number 1, I just bloody love video, and number 2, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is bigger. Audio makes more than written, and video makes more than audio, in general anyway. Here are 3 vertical and niche combos that I think would do very, very well. Number 1, the vertical of audio and the niche of love stories. You're primarily aiming this at the female population because romance is the #1 category on Kindle books. So you have a big audience, but you have a lot of competition. So to separate yourself out from the crowd, you take stories from real life people. To get started, you run this ad. Have an interesting love story, send it to us, and if we use it, you win $500. Call it Heartstrings, True Tales of Love. Release 1 episode a week for 3 months and iron down your process. Then you launch Swipe Left, hilarious Tinder tale. And then you launch Love Unscripted, where widowers find love again. Okay, the second vertical you use is video, and the niche is biographies. Detail the lives of key people of influence in the realm of science. You have no shortage of content here, and you can produce it in a way that details the lives of these people in video format. Now, unfortunately, you won't have footage of Galileo, or probably the budget to do full-scale animation. So I would think about this a little bit differently and do low-cost animations like stickmen and use your storytelling skills or storytelling expertise that you hire to really draw people in on the stories in the format that you want to do it in. Call it Lab to Legend, the lives of scientific giants. Then you launch High Rollers, the lives of risk-taking entrepreneurs. Then Heroes Among Us, the lives of people who give back. That's enough ideas. And the last is video and business. And this is actually what I'm doing now. We're developing content whereby we're pairing business with another niche. So business and pop culture, business and sport. We're using YouTube to do this initially, not because you can make money and generate revenue through AdSense, but the discoverability on YouTube is massive. We're currently in the middle of ironing out our process and core team for the first channel, and thereafter our plan is to duplicate this in multiple different channels. We started this 8 weeks ago, got monetized pretty quickly, and any day we're making anywhere between $30 and $100. Not too bad, but we're very far away from 100 million exit. And just bear in mind here, Parcast at the time it was acquired by Spotify had 75 voice actors, producers and scriptwriters working for them. And to get to the scale he did in 3 years, he was going full beast mode. So though this is a very rewarding side hustle, it's not easy. And it's getting a little bit harder to stand out. Everyone and their mother are creating content. As Max said, you have to be different. It's okay to have a niche audience because brands like that a lot. You have to figure out what your show is doing, how it is informing people, and what is your DNA. And to be honest, we've only scratched the surface here on this topic, and I've only talked about it so far. I haven't shown you anything. If you want to see me putting this side hustle to action, you should watch this video up here. That's all from me. Slán.